Welcome to Toffee TV. I am joined by an Everton legend, absolute legend, and a legend of football in general. Changed the face of the way we view football. And he's now chilling in his apartment in Qatar. It is the one and only Andy Gray. Andy, lovely to have you on again, mate.
It's good to talk to you. It's really good, yeah. I mean, it's nice because I've been sitting here on my own all day, so it's great to have somebody to talk to.
How are you finding it, mate? You okay over there?
I'm not bad with my own company most of the time. Sadly, my missus got caught in the UK, and she's not been able to get back to Qatar yet. So that's a bit of a bummer. But normally I'm all right with my own company. But I think when you've been like, I've had it for 5 weeks now, and the main thing, the golf course is shut, and that's the big thing for us. I think if we could get the golf course open, it would help our mental health enormously.
No football and no golf.
No. So what is it to do? What is it to do?
Let's move on to slightly brighter things and reminisce about your Everton career, which always fills me with a warm glow. Talking about that side and you and your blonde locks. How did the move come about to Everton? Obviously, you'd been at Wolves, and you were a big name striker, and then you'd had some injuries. How did the move come about to Everton?
Well, I think obviously instigated by Howard and Everton. I think that Howard was in a bit of trouble then. I think we all remember that. There was pressure on the board. There was pressure on Howard. There was pressure on the board to make a decision about him. And he was running out of money. He'd bought his Magnificent Seven, if you remember. Either the season before, I think it was.
Yeah.
Hadn't quite worked for him in that way. And he was running out of options. I was an option, a cheap one. I was at a club that had gone into administration, so I would be sold as soon as a half-decent offer came in. And I think Howard had a look and thought, I don't know. I mean, in fairness to him, I took a gamble with someone who, if I was being totally honest, I wasn't quite sure if I could hack it again. I'd had a couple of poor years at Wolves, a couple of great years to start with, then followed by a couple of poor ones. There were various reasons for it. The club going into administration didn't help. The club was in the right state. Owner after different owner was coming in. No one knew what was happening. It was affecting everybody, not just me. So I needed to get away as well and see if I really could do it again. So I think the combination of Howard's last shot, really, at getting somebody in to try and change it a bit, and my last shot at getting out of Wolves to see if I could still do it again, it just came together. And I couldn't, I enjoyed my time at Wolves, but when Howard asked me and wanted me, and as soon as I met him, I thought, yeah, I'm on the way, no problem, I'll definitely come up.
Just tell you've told me this story before, but just reiterate the story of you and your medical records, because it wasn't quite computerised, was it, in those days?
No, it wasn't. And as I say, the Wolves were going into administration, so everything was a bit all over the place. So of course, I was on the Thursday, I think it was, I was asked to go into Molyneux to pick up my medical records so that I could take them with me on Friday morning up to Goodison for Doc Irvin to have a look at and just sort of skim over. So I went to pick them up, and when I picked them up, I thought, bloody hell. I thought I nearly needed a wheelbarrow to take them out of Molyneux, and I thought, I can't take that up there. I said, you must be joking. So I thought, right. So I went home and had a big open fire. So I went through them all, and I thought, right, that can go in the fire, that can go in the fire, that can go in the fire, that can go in the fire. Suddenly, it must have been 6 inches thick, at least. This file that was 7 inches thick suddenly was an inch thick, and looked a lot easier to carry. When I went to Goodison, they gave it to Doc Everton, and he went, "Oh," he said, "I'm surprised at that, Andy." I said, "What's that, Doc?" He says, "Well, I thought there'd be a lot more than that." I says, "Nah, popular misconception, Doc. I'm not really been that badly injured before. People just talking." He had a chuckle. And in actual fact, my knee was swollen still because I'd played on Wednesday night. And would you believe, in a cup tie against Preston, a League Cup tie. That's why I missed the League Cup that night, and I'd played at Preston when I shouldn't have done with a swollen knee. Went up to Goodison, sat down with the doc. He looked at my knee and he went, "Oh, it's a bit on the swollen side." I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's always a bit like that, doc." I said, "But it's not going to cause me a problem." He said, "Well, if we don't sign you this morning, what will you be doing tomorrow?" I said, "Well, I'll be playing for Wolves." And I went, "Oh, okay, all right." And off he went and came back, and he said, "Well, we can't get you registered in time," Howard said, "but I can get you to sign a loan deal."
Yeah.
Which means you can play tomorrow. And then we'll sign the contract at the beginning of the week. So that's how I got to play that game, because it was tight. I signed a loan deal for 24 hours. And then we did the contract after that. But yeah, it was... like the doc was a little surprised at how uninjured I was.
And that was it. That was a key game. Actually, I was talking to Adrian Heath last week. He done one of these with me last week, and he said it was Forest at home, wasn't it? Your debut. And he said he hadn't scored. In fact, I just added up before, he hadn't actually scored a league goal. He'd scored a couple of goals in the League Cup. And he said, you just said to him that day, just hang around me, son, and something will drop you. And he said, Andy didn't, half the time, he said, he didn't even try and win the ball. He just made sure the centre-back didn't win it. And lo and behold, you took one on your chest, rolled it across, and Incy knocked it in, and we won the game 1-0.
Yeah, well, I do remember saying that to him. Because, listen, I know what he was feeling like. You know, he was a big money signing. He was a young lad. It hadn't quite worked for him. League goals were hard to come by. And so I knew it was going through. I was like 28. So I had an idea of what he was going through. 27, was it? 27, yeah, 27. Or maybe coming up for 28. So I knew it was going through. And I had a little bit more experience than Inchie. And I meant it. You know, I did enjoy scoring goals, but I also got as much joy out of creating something for my mate as well. So I did say to him, I just said, listen, anytime the ball comes anywhere near me in the ball, me man, I said, just get yourself near me. I said, because I guarantee you, I'll get something dropping for you. I'll get something dropping for you. And lo and behold, it did, and he took his chance. And, well, as we say, he never looked back really after that.
Yeah, he was up and running. You scored your first goal, ironically, against Villa, one of your ex-clubs.
Did I?
Your first goal for us, yeah. Villa, a 1-1 draw. And Paul Rideout to score for Villa, actually, who went on, obviously, to play for Everton. And you scored in injury time to get us a point on December the 10th. That was your first goal.
See, that would be a good quiz question, because if you'd have said to me, who did I score my first goal for Everton, I would not have been able to tell you. There you go.
Yeah.
I usually remember every goal I scored, but
yeah.
I've no idea. See, I remember creating the goal for Inchie. Funny that, isn't it? I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that vividly in that moment and that game, but I don't remember my first goal.
Yeah, 10th of December.
A header,
I think, 10th of December. Yeah, late goal, injury time equaliser. We drew 1-1. So there you go. We went into that December, and I remember us getting bounced 3-0 at Wolves, actually, we didn't play very well, let's leave it there. And then the Coventry game, but a game I've spoke to many people about, and I think me and you have had the chat about this before, but Birmingham City away on the 2nd of January, and it was a tough game, because we hadn't won for weeks, and you said that Howard said some words before the game, kind of, it's your last chance or something like that for the players. Was that right?
Yeah, he did. He came in. I remember him coming in, sitting with us before that game. It was a big game. Not easy, going to St Andrews, trying to get a win when you hadn't been playing well. And he said, I'm under pressure, and, you know, I believe in you, majority of you, a vast majority of you. I believe in you. And I want us to succeed. But if we don't get a performance or result today, then I'm seriously going to have to shake this thing up big time. So we knew going into that game what was required. And, you know, people talk about other games, the Stoke game, the Oxford game. Yes, they all played a part. But for me, in my opinion, that was the one that started it.
Yeah.
Because I think from there, results started to improve, confidence started to build. Howard became more confident in what he was doing as well, I believe, and started to find his team at last. That he thought, this is going to be my team, this is what I'm going to go in with. You know, he had to make his mind up with Jim Arnold or Neville. He did. Yeah. Neville got the nod. That was another big time in it. So I think that game was big for that. For me, I still believe that, even though Stoke and Oxford were massively important games, so was Birmingham City.
Yeah, we won the game 2-0, and then Stoke, like you just mentioned, that was on the Saturday. That was the famous window opening, do it for that lot, and you come up big in that one. You scored the first goal in that one, didn't you? You and Alan Irvine scored the second, and it was a big result, because that was a tough place to go, the Victoria Ground.
Stoke was never easy. It was a cup tie, wasn't it?
Cup tie, yeah. Yeah, third round, yeah.
And Howard opened the windows, and the noise that came through that window, my goodness, it blew us all away. And, as we said, Reedy's always said to me, nah, you couldn't we're not letting these people down. Reedy said, no chance, boys, come on. I said, well, you're absolutely right. And we had, the word momentum is a brilliant one.
Yeah.
It wasn't used as much back then as it is now. But I know it was only 2 games, but it was amazing what the Birmingham game did to our confidence going into that. And that was two away games where you'd need to be playing pretty well to go and win both.
Yeah.
Right? You need to be a really good team to go to St Andrews and Stoke and win both games. We weren't. We were down near the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
And hadn't shown much at all. But yet we went to those 2 places and I think we had 2 clean sheets, didn't we?
2-0 clean. Yeah.
We won them both 2-0, clean sheets, 4 goals. Suddenly we're walking around thinking we can play, and it was amazing how it just suddenly went whoosh and off it took.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Birmingham game was there was only lost 1 of the next 12 league games, when, considering where we'd been at Christmas, was incredible. Obviously, the FA Cup it's a different competition, but you're right, the momentum was building there, wasn't it? Obviously, I don't know whether people all remember that we had Gillingham and those 3 games, the 2-0 and then a 3-0, and then we beat Shrewsbury 3-0. We were also doing well in the League Cup. And you just mentioned before you played against Preston. How hard was it for you to be in the team and then having to sit out for that League Cup run?
Horrible, because we could see the confidence growing. I could see. Every game we played, we got more and more belief in our ability to get results and beat teams. And I could see it growing in the League Cup. And it was horrible, being in the league games and dropping out for a League Cup, and being in the FA Cup and dropping out for the League Cup.
Yeah.
And it was horrendous. But, delighted as well. There's a lot of people say, you don't want your team to win when you're not playing. I do. I did want my team to win, even though I wasn't playing. It was so important. And it was a big psychological boost for a lot of the young boys.
Yeah.
To go all the way to the final, and particularly the final as it was, an all Merseyside final, first time ever in the history. And we were a little bit unlucky. We got done by a really bad decision when Jockey Hansen should have given the away and didn't. We didn't get the decision. That probably would have won us the game at Wembley.
Yeah.
And then we lost to goal up at Main Road. So, but that was a big. Even though we lost, it was a big moment.
Yeah.
It was a big moment because it gave all the young boys, and there were a lot of them now beginning to stamp their credentials in and stay in the team, a lot of them. And it gave them that we can live with this team. This Liverpool are the best team in the country, and we should have beaten them. Yeah. And we're taking them right to the wire in those games. And I think that gave us a huge belief going into the FA Cup. It certainly made me more determined to do the FA Cup because I wasn't involved in the League Cup. So I was doubly determined that, I wanted to get back there for the FA Cup and just sample that. So I'd been to a couple of League Cup finals. I'd won a couple of League Cup finals, but I hadn't been to an FA Cup final. So I was pretty determined to try and get there, help the boys get there, and luckily we did.
Scored a winner in the League Cup final as well. So don't leave that out, mate. Aidan Heath said that after, funnily enough, actually, after the Liverpool game, we come off, and although we'd lost, it was like, we're there now because we've just ran them close. We know we're coming, and everything built from that. We can't not talk about Notts County, the header. What were you thinking?
No idea. I still don't know. 30 odd years on, to this day, I just felt, and it's funny, Sheeds has got such a lovely left foot, and he's always looking to feed it in there. And when it comes over, my first thought is I'm going to head it, obviously. I was better with my head than I was with my feet. And and it was coming onto my right side as well, which was my weaker side. And it's amazing how quickly a footballer's brain works in a few seconds. Because I really believe if I'd have gone with my right foot, I wouldn't have had the direction, power, control to have had a good contact on it, because I would really have been stretching at it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, if I can get there, my best option is to try and head it. But it dipped a little bit earlier than I thought as it came over the defender. When I saw it come in, I thought, I'm going to get it before it hits the ground. I thought it was going to make a diving header.
Right.
But then it suddenly dips quite short on me. And I think, well, I'm committed to going for it. I couldn't stop myself. And the only thing I could do was just hope. And the half-volley header just, listen, it could have gone anywhere. But the goalkeeper, I think, was so surprised that was more the reason why he didn't save it than anything. It was just, he kind of thought, what the hell is he doing? and I think most of the boys thought as well, what the hell are you doing, Andy? Mm-hmm. But listen, it was an important goal, really important goal. And it got sort of set that game and just put us through, and it just kind of put paid to Notts County, who again were a decent side in those days.
Good side.
Some players in their team. So, we were away from home. It wasn't easy. I mean, admittedly, our cup run, they didn't pit us against a lot of big teams in that run. We were fortunate.
Yeah.
We played Telford, and we played, who else? Who did we play?
We had Gillingham, didn't we?
No, Gillingham, yeah. We played, it was the other one.
In that year, we had Stoke, Gillingham, Shrewsbury, Notts County.
That's it.
And then Telford was the year later, Southampton, then in the semi-final, obviously.
Final Southampton. That was it. Yeah. They were a good side.
Yeah.
They were an experienced side. If you look at their team,
Shilts in goal, didn't he?
Yeah, Frank Worthington at the top end, Mick Mills playing left back. They were bag for like Mark Wright playing centre back. Yeah. They had bags of experience, much more than us, much more than. And I think they really fancied themselves.
Yeah.
But that was another day. Big Nev was terrific. A couple of big saves early on that he made that were important.
Yeah.
It looked like it was drifting. It looked like we're going to have to go to a replay again and have to go through it again until the wee man popped up with a lovely little header. And that was that. That was such a great feeling. And the best bus journey I've ever had coming back from that game. The best.
Exactly what Aidan Eat said. It's 40 miles an hour all the way back, surrounded by loads. Didn't Howard say, don't go...
Well, shout to Jim, take your time, Jim. Get your foot off that accelerator. Don't shoot back. Outstanding memories. And then obviously, one thing that Aidan Eat did say was that two things he thinks that you and Peter Reid did for that team was, one, made the players accountable to each other. He said because it was made everybody question each other. It's Howard didn't need to do it all the time. You did it for them, you and Reid, and you become that unit. And then he said you in particular on cup final week said, if I hear anyone saying that they're coming here to enjoy themselves, I'm gonna have them. He said, because I'm coming here. This is you. I'm coming here to win. We're coming here to win. And he said that focused everybody for that particular game. I think what I couldn't. He's right about the cup final week, because I was hearing from Watford, Elton John, Graham Taylor. We're going to have a good time. We're going down to enjoy himself, and I was going to ring the boys. Listen, they might be effing going to enjoy us. We're effing going to win it. We'll not get any enjoyment unless we walk away from there having won it. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
And the boys were going, we'll win 2 or 3-0. And I kept saying, if I hear any you say that in the press, we're going to win this easy, then we don't want that either. That can't happen. And Reedy and I were the same. But they were so confident, the kids, and all the boys, Trevor, Stephen, Sheeds, they were all so confident we were going to win the football match. I couldn't believe it. It was just, we had to just try and keep feet on the ground. But I get no enjoyment out of losing anything. And I said that. Remember how you felt at Main Road? You don't want to feel that again, particularly at Wembley. But in all honesty, I don't think we were ever going to lose that.
No.
Never. I think Barnsley missed a header early on. Good chance for John, because he's a decent header of the ball. And Barnsley missed a header early on. And after that, if they'd have scored 2, we'd have got 3. If they'd have got 3, we'd have got 4. Yeah. I think we were that much better than them. And in the end, it was a comfortable win. Really was.
Yeah, for any cup final, it really was. If people, when you watch it again, you realise how good we were. You lose that at the time, and obviously as a player, you're in it, so you're part of it as a fan. The nervousness of wanting to win, but when you go and watch it back, we were just so good in the game. You're right there. Barnes had the header. I think that Les, what was his name, had a chance in the first half that just went wide. But other than that, there was nothing.
No, they had very little.
You scored a wonderful header. Not an ombre. Not an ombre. Steve Sherwood's face as a picture.
By the way, nothing wrong with it, all right? It doesn't say anything but grey in the record books. That's all it says.
It does. I don't think there was anything wrong with it. He didn't have his hands on the ball. He touched it. You headed it. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I definitely headed the ball. Yeah, I said to everybody, it looks bad, but it looks bad because you know what happened? He fell over his own player. He fell over Steve Terry.
Yeah.
As he went back, and I missed him. I just put my head in there. I just got contact with the football.
Yeah.
But listen, the way it looked, 9 times out of 10, he might well have given a free kick. But especially in the cup final. You know what I mean? So I guess it's what I've always said. To be good at any sport, you need to have luck on your side as well, and that was fortunate for me. A lot of referees would have given the foul, although I didn't think it was, but he didn't, and I got the goal, and it was great that me and Shappy, two jocks, were able to score both goals for Everton in that cup final. That was special for us. Yeah,
fantastic. And then obviously the next season we signed Paul Bracewell in the summer, and then the next season we kick off with a win against Liverpool at Wembley in the Charity Shield, which a Brucey bonus, which was Sharp tries to claim it, but it was definitely Grobbelaar smashing it in off his own post, wasn't it?
Yeah. Own goal. Can't be pretty good at claiming own goals, I have to say. A couple of them.
He did. He certainly did. What we've going into that next season? Obviously, we've been on a high, 2 cup finals, finished 7th, great run. Think we lost a couple at the last 18 or whatever. Was there a belief that we could actually do something that season, or was it?
Yeah, no.
There was, yeah.
There was a genuine belief, yeah, and particularly the way he had strengthened that with Brace and Pat Van den Houw.
Yeah.
That made a massive difference. And Trevor Steven and Sheeds were dominant, and the fact that Alan Irvine was phased out and Terry Curran was phased out. These were good players.
Yeah.
And the 2 young kids had come in and made it their own, and everyone was buoyant because of the FA Cup. When you think you're taking the FA Cup win into the summer with you, fantastic feeling.
Yeah.
And training couldn't come round quick enough. Sadly, I got injured in pre-season, and obviously the Charity Shield because he decided that he wanted to give Brace a game. I wasn't quite ready, and I was gutted to miss that game. And again, I know another Merseyside, something about Liverpool, Merseyside, Wembley game that I wasn't going to play in, wasn't it? So I never got to play in that. But the season was we got a kick in the butt early on because we just never started the way we thought. We got hammered at home with Spurs. Clive scored a hat trick. I think Clive Allen got a hat trick that day.
Before 4-1, yeah.
4-1, and then the Baggies beat us in the midweek.
Yeah.
At the Horse. And I remember going in and then the Friday night game it was a live game on a Friday night at Stamford Bridge, and Howard had said to the boys, "Listen, I don't care what happens. The season we have to start tonight. I don't care 0-0, but we're not going to concede. We conceded 6 goals, ridiculous. We don't concede goals. So I want a clean sheet, and whatever comes with that, we'll take it and we'll move on."
Yeah.
Got Richard got a fantastic winner. That was it. That lit the blue touch paper for the season. And off we went.
Yeah,
off we went.
We were off and running. The start of that season was a struggle for you, wasn't it? Because obviously the injury, and then Heath and Sharp were kind of in. But you scored your first goal of the season. It was a big goal at St James's Park. We won 3-2. You scored a header. It was a big win that for us because it just kept that momentum going. But was it tough sitting out and watching those two doing well?
Horrendous. I mean, I remember that game. I'd been out injured, but then when I came back, Howard decided to play me and Inchie at St James's.
Yeah.
That was a big decision because Graham had played all right first few games. And then I was fit, so Howard had to make a decision. And he decided he would go with me and Inchie.
Yeah.
And Chappie was furious. And he might deny this, but he was close to sending a transfer request in. He was so upset.
Yeah.
I talked him out of that. I said, as strange as it would be, I said, listen, pal, honestly, Chappie, don't. You're angry. You're not thinking straight. I said, football changes quickly. So don't do anything stupid right now. Promise me you won't do it. And he went, okay, all right, I'll have a think about it. There, lo and behold, what happens? The man who's telling him don't put a transfer request in smashes his metatarsal that game, and I'm out for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And in those 8 weeks, or 6 weeks, whatever it was, those two become the two best frontmen and the best partnership in the country by some distance. They were brilliant together.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant together. All the way through to that horrific injury that Adrian got. When was it? November?
December the 1st, I think. Sheffield
Wednesday. Yeah, that horrific injury that Inchie got. And I sat on the bench for, I think, 12 games, 11 games, something like that, 10 games. It was hard. But Terry Darracott kept me going a bit, Terry.
Did he?
Because I obviously had to play games, played a few reserve team games just to tick over. And Terry was brilliant for me there, kept me going, kept my chin up. I was never one to get down too often anyway. There was nothing I could do, and I could say I couldn't go and knock on Howard's door and say, listen, I want back in the team. He just turned around and say, well, where? Tell me who I'm leaving out, Andy, and I'll do it. Adrian and Graham were brilliant together, and it was tragic for Adrian.
Yeah.
That what happened to him, and then what happened the rest of the season. But like the same for me. I lost my place through injury, and I got it back through injury to someone else. That is the nature of the sport we work in. But listen, I never wanted Inchie to get injured or Sharpie. They were brilliant together, and although I wasn't playing and I was frustrated, it was great to see them play the way they were. They were brilliant.
But you did, obviously, it was awful for Adrian Heath. Obviously, he was 11 goals by December. He'd said when I spoke to him last week that he'd been told he was going to be in the next England squad, and everything was going. And obviously, it's over, isn't it, like that for the season? But you got back in, and obviously you and Sharp then were a handful, and we were getting results. But down at Leicester was your next goals in the league, and you were up front with Trevor Stephen that day, didn't you? It was, and that was a massive win.
It was weird. No, I'd come back in the side and I wore the 8. Sharpie had 9. I had 8 on.
Yeah.
Every game I played with 8 on, I didn't score. I think I went 12 games when I came back in. Although we were still winning, I felt I was contributing. But I was contributing, but I wasn't scoring. I was hitting the bar. Keepers were making great saves. It just wasn't happening for me.
Yeah.
But the team was winning. So it was okay for Howard to keep me in the side in that respect. But then, when Graham was out at Leicester, I took 9 back. And I gave Trevor 8. And as soon as I put the 9 on, what happens? I get 2 big goals that day. And off I went. And off I went on a run where I was scoring goals regularly after that. I kept the 9. I wouldn't give Sharpie it back, so he had to wear 8 after that. And I wore 9 for the rest of the season.
Outstanding. I mean, you scored one with your right foot as well, right foot volley in that one, didn't you?
It was not quite a volley, but it was
half volley.
Right.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, the one I scored at Tottenham was probably better than that, but that was a really good goal at Leicester. They just got back in it at 1-1 as well, and we were just, it was a big goal. It was a big goal, and it won us the game down there. So it was great, and I was off and running again, and suddenly I believed again.
Yeah,
I was happy. Got my first 2 goals for ages, and I just couldn't wait to get playing again. I thought, well, look, start coming now, and they did. So that was good.
I think I've asked you this before, but I just want you to remind me because it's back in my head. You scored that volley. I think it's the volley or the half volley, but you run up. I think it might have been to Steve Lynex, and you're pointing at someone very angrily, Andy.
Oh, I wasn't Lynex. I was pointing at the linesman. We thought Lynex was offside.
Oh, okay.
And when he went through, we thought Steve, and the linesman kept his flag down. We were furious, and I was going straight over the linesman, pointing to him. I can't tell you what I said.
No.
Obviously.
I think I can lip read. It's fine.
Yeah. It was, the first part was stuff you, and I kept left it at that. Let's leave it at that. the imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the linesman.
Okay.
I remember Jimmy Hill. Jimmy Hill, God bless him, when he did the game that night and he was analysing it and he said, "There's Andy Gray scoring you goal," and there he is. Look at him pointing to Howard Kendall, saying, "Look, I can still do it." Well, Jimmy could have been further from the truth.
And like, you're right about you got, but obviously the confidence came back. You got a hat-trick against Fortuna Sittard, which sets us up brilliantly in the Cup Winners' Cup to go over there, and we beat them 2-0. You've told me stories about that one. You shouldn't have been on the bench in that one. You were relaxing and you got put on. I'm not going to ask you to go into that on here, but it was that was another one. But a great result over there. A rare Peter Reid goal over there as well.
Rare Reid goal, yeah.
And then you went into it, scored against Arsenal at home in a win, and then you've just mentioned it before, which was an absolute key result, the Tottenham victory away. Your volley after about 10 minutes is an absolute screamer. And what a big win that was that night.
That was a great win. They were good, Tottenham. We know that. As we say, they thumped us 4-0, 4-1 in the opening day. And they were the best. They were the biggest challengers. And going into this game, I seem to remember we have 10 games left? Something like that. And they had 6 at home, I think. Right. And only 4 away. I think we had the opposite. And I think they believed, and so did a lot of pundits at the time. They thought, they were calling it the league decider. If Tottenham win this, that will set them up to go and take the title for the first time in so many years. If Everton can get something from it, that would be a great result for them. And we knew the importance of it. And it was a midweek game. The place was jumping. I mean, jumping. And it was such a bad... I remember Martin Tyler interviewed me, and Martin said, "Well, so will a draw satisfy you tonight, Andy?" And I said to him before the game, "No, Martin, only wins satisfy this team." And he went, "Oh, okay." And he interviewed me after, and he said, "Well, you did say that." I said, "Martin, to be honest with you, we would have taken a draw."
I've seen that recently, actually. It was, I can't remember it from the time. I remember the game, obviously, but I've seen that interview before, and you're very, very, very focused before the game, and that line of draws won't satisfy us. Yeah, a massive game. I can't not ask you about Nev's save from Mark Falco with a few minutes left. Oh, such a huge save, wasn't it?
Well, I've said all along, I've done so many interviews and talked so many times, and I think one of the things I said about that save is, there's all sorts of things when you league titles, and it's not beating United 5-1 at Goodison. That doesn't win you a league title. It's not those results. What wins your title is, winning 2-1, going into your last minute, and a big game that you really need to win, and your goalie does that for you. That wins titles.
Yeah.
I've talked many times about the Gillian game the year before. Tony Cascarino goes through.
Yeah.
He jumps round the Nev and scores. What happens to Everton?
Yeah.
Who knows? The future may have held for us. We wouldn't have won the FA Cup, and who knows what would have happened. But Nev saved, stopped him scoring, and we won the third replay. It's the second replay. So these are the things. It's the small things that win you the titles. It's not great results where you win 4-5-0, 4-1. No, it's the Leicester's away like that.
Yeah.
Really, where you dig in and somebody does something special like Nev did that night. That's the difference between winning a title and coming second.
Yeah, unbelievable. But again, a few days later we play Sunderland, and you score two brilliant diving headers, two totally different, either corner at the street end. I mean, the first one is amazing because it demonstrates how good the football team we were. It demonstrates Peter Reid megging someone and using blister and pace, and then and you with the diving header, absolutely brilliant. And that to me is one of the iconic goals of that Championship side. It's whenever they try to sum up that team, that's the goal that they show. You diving in at the. I mean, what was it like playing in that team for a centre forward like you? Who, when you got in that run.
Perfect. I mean, when you play Graham Sharp or myself or both of us or one of us, you've got two amazing wide players, and Sheedy and Stephen, Trevor Stephen. You're going to get service. You've got two fullbacks who've got terrific delivery, and you've got a coach who wants you to play fast, attacking football. Yeah, doesn't want you to pass it around the back too often, but wants you to pass it. But he wants you to pass it with a purpose forward and play fast football and pressure people. I mean, people going about, front men pressing now, and as if it's just been invented. You know, Sharpie and I used to put defenders under pressure. I used to do it when I was at Villa when I was 19. You know, used to try and win the ball as high up the pitch. It's just they term it differently now. We were always told the higher up the pitch you win the football, the less distance you have to go to score. That's now it's called a gegenpress or something like that. You know what I mean? You know, Rushy spent a life doing it.
He did, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so we were like that, and it was, if you were a front man to play, and that team was brilliant because you were always involved. They always wanted to get the football to the front men as often as we could, because why not? Because we'll get goals or we'll get chances.
Yeah.
But those two goals, the first goal, I mean, the move was great for the first goal. I agree with you. You know, the ball down the line, Reedy's nutmegging a Peter Daniels, his ball in the near post. That was a wonderful football goal. But it was an easy header. It was a really easy header.
For you, yeah.
But the second one was a really difficult header. It was my weak side. It was dipping a bit again, braces cross. And to get it up into where I got it, even for me, I was surprised at the finish on it. It was a much better header and a much more difficult one. First one, but two great goals. I loved them, and especially at that end.
Oh yeah, superb. Obviously, the time of recording is the 35th anniversary of Bayern Munich.
Correct.
Bayern Munich.
You know what I'm doing tonight?
Go on.
Because I can't remember when the last time I saw the whole game. So what I'm doing tonight is when I'm finished with you, I'm going to make my dinner. It's now 10 to 7 in Qatar.
Okay.
I'm going to make my dinner.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some food, and I'm going to go on YouTube, and I'm going to put the whole game on, and I'm going to sit here with a small drink and watch it.
Outstanding.
Now, I spoke to Reedy today, and he said, "What are you doing, big man?" I said, "Oh, but the same as you, wee man, not a lot." I said, "I'm going to watch it." He went, "Oh, that's a good idea. I might do the same myself." because I don't remember. We were having a laugh because he was saying to me, I remember he said, I gave Trevor Stevens so much stick that night. And I don't know if you spoke to Trevor, but he said he had a nightmare. He had a really bad game, Trevor. I don't remember. So I said to him, I'm going to have a look at that. He said, no, watch it. He said, for the first 20 minutes, I'm going, come on, Trick. Come on, wee man. Come on, got to get going. After an hour, I'm saying, hey, you, get a grip yourself. He said, I just lost it with him. But I don't remember that. See, I don't remember Trevor having a poor game.
Well, you were involved in your own battle, that's why. Because we'd had a great result over in Bayern, and we didn't have a full team that night. We had players missing and drew 0-0. The Olympics, the Olympic Stadium, and then we come back to Goodison. It was unbelievable. I remember bunking off school and getting the bus there and queuing up and getting in the ground about 5:15 or something, 5:30, and it was incredible. And then obviously they score. The noise was amazing that night, but they score, and you'll remember it as a player, but silence.
Yeah.
I think they had 200 in the top balcony, but it was silence. It was eerie as the ball went in, wasn't it? It was so strange. And what were you thinking at half time?
I thought we were still in it. I mean, we knew we were against one of the top teams in Europe. They got pedigree, they got history, they got experience, they got great players in their team. I mean, this wasn't a dumpling team that were coming over from Germany. This was Bayern Munich, with the likes of Pfaff and Soren Lerby added to them. Kogel was playing. I think Lothar Matthäus played. A young Lothar Matthäus might have played that night. I'm sure he did. They were a really top side. We were like rag-ass Rovers. Nobody in Germany had heard of any of us. They hadn't, until we played them the first game, got a 0-0. They would not have heard of any of our players. I bet you they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But they were about to, and they would have been big favourites to win that. And especially at 1-0 at half time, they must have thought, yes, we'll see this game out quite easily now. But they didn't. No,
they didn't. I mean, obviously you scored a huge goal in it. We got the 2 long throws. And it amazes me that people were questioning whether your goal was a foul. And when you watch it again, it's Jean-Marie Pfaff jumps into his own player and you're just there ready to gobble it up, aren't you?
Yeah, Sharpie's in near them there, but he does make a mess of it, the keeper, a big mess of it.
Yeah.
But they were worried. They were really worried about anything we put in there. Sometimes, people go on about tactics and they talk about the game and passing it here, passing it there. But sometimes we knew that they didn't fancy the physical side of it. I mean, and when I say that, as Reedy would tell you if you spoke to him, I said to me, do you remember it all? He said, yeah. He said, it was unbelievable pace in the game, he said, and it was a war. He said, it was brutal. The word he used to me this afternoon, Reedy, he said, it was brutal, Andy. And you remember his sock was red.
Yeah.
He had a massive hole in his leg.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But we knew, and Howard knew, and Colin knew that their back three didn't like physicality, and they didn't like aerial confrontation.
Yeah.
And so we said, well, if you don't like that, we're going to make sure you get some of it. And we had Gary Stevens who could throw the ball in for fun.
Yeah.
Why not use him? I think that the folly would be not to use it.
Yeah.
So we used it, and we tested them time and again, and we kept knocking at the door, and the door opened. You know, it fell open, and at the end, they were. I'm sure Lerby was desperate to get off. He'd been battered and bruised so much he couldn't get off quick enough. And there was a few like that. There was a few like that.
Incredible. And we had your assist as well. Don't forget for the threaded through ball for Trevor Stevens.
Sorry, assist for the first goal as well, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. I've just mean the refined one, the assist. Yeah, what a night. Yeah. A goal and 2 assists. Not bad. Not a bad night's work. But the third goal, obviously, the ball to Trevor, and that was like the icing on the cake, wasn't it, when he's knocked that in to kill the game.
Cheese was funny when he talks about that. He says, well, I got the ball and I had a touch, and then I had another touch, and then I had another touch, and I was still waiting for Andy to make a move, so I had another touch. Well, I was just timing my run so I didn't get offside.
Yeah, of course. But what a lovely finish.
You see, I said to somebody the other day, we were winning 2-1. A young team, apart from me and Reedy, that were on the brink of getting into a semi-final, a final of a European Cup, a European first time, for the first time ever, the only time up till now. And here we had a young boy in the ball on the halfway line. 9 times out of 10, he'd have clubbed it into the corner and had me or Sharpie chase it and just eat up time. What did he do? Patient, controlled it, waited, played it to me. I played it to Trevor, 1 touch, goal. So that's the measure of the team we are. They say, well, you had it long at times. Yeah, we had it long at times. Of course we did, because we were good at doing that. But we could play. We could do everything. We could battle. We could play. We can do most things. Most things.
Yeah.
And that goal typified it for me. And that we could easily have just cleared it, thumped it down the pitch, but Sheeds didn't. He wanted to make something happen. And he made something happen. He made the 3rd goal happen. And that killed him totally. Totally killed him.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. You scored another massive goal for us at Sheffield Wednesday in the yellow and black kit. Yeah. Probably wasn't your cleanest strike at the ball. Is that fair to say?
It was a shocker. It was embarrassing. But I'd been never a goal. The goalie was an ex-Everton goalie. Who was it?
Martin Hodge.
Right, he played for Everton, didn't he?
Yeah, did, yeah.
He'd been giving me some lip during the game. He'd been giving me verbal, yeah. So him and I had been having a little go at each other. So, and if you notice with the goal, I kind of scuff it that goes in, and I turn immediately at him and plenty before we disappear. And that was another day though. Neville was at his best.
Yeah.
You know, I get the plaudits, I get the accolades. Nev saved us that day.
Yeah. One from Varadi. Was amazing.
The one from Paddy was just unbelievable, and that's what I mean. That's why it was team in every sense of the word.
Yeah, and then another massive goal you scored for us was I heard you talking about this the other day on Keys and Gray. The first goal against Rapid Vienna, the volley with your left foot, and Sharpie does really well, doesn't he, for the goal going round the keeper.
I mean, I had scored a volley with my right foot in the first half. Yeah. A really well-worked set play we made. And how it never flagged offside, I've no idea. None of us thought it was offside. Even Brian Clough, God rest his soul, Brian Clough, who was doing the commentary, couldn't believe offside was given there. So I'd scored one first half with a right foot volley from close in. And then it's funny, but again, I said to you, it's amazing what goes through your mind in a short spell of time on a football pitch. But at that time, nothing went through my mind, really, because I knew the goalie was out because I saw him go at Sharpie, And I knew that all I had to do was make good contact. Not like I did Sheffield Wednesday a couple of weeks before, but good contact, clean contact. And actually couldn't have, and it looked simple, and probably for most footballers it should have been simple, but it was a cup final. It was Europe. It was Everton's first ever European final. The first goal in the game. Wasn't the fourth, or it was the first. So all these things make it difficult, or a little more difficult, but caught it perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. And finished it lovely. But there's a move in that match that if anybody watching should watch it. It's just before we score the second goal from the corner.
Yeah.
Where I think we have about 30 or 40 passes, moving the ball all over the pitch. It's a tremendous amount of passes. I can't think it's a huge amount anyway for back then, when people say we didn't play much. And Trevor eventually gets in, spins, and the keeper makes a great save, and I think we score from the corner. So it's the move just before that. Have a look at it, because it's an unbelievable piece of football from a team that wasn't regarded as playing too much football at times. It's fantastic. It really is good to watch.
We just outstanding that night. Obviously, like you just said, score off the corner. Trevor scores, and then we have Hans Krankel get one back, doesn't he? And then Sheeds with a brilliant finish for the third goal. And that was typical of that team. No, we 2-1. Now I'd be my shirt to be over my head. I'd be saying 100 Hail Marys, but within a second, a few seconds, Sheeds is in and it's bang 3-1, and it was over. Obviously, was that a good night after that?
It was that night, brilliant night. I mean, winning it was fantastic. We were miles better than them. If the truth be known, it wasn't really a contest. We won. First half we battered them. They hardly had a kick first half. And yet we couldn't score. And they had a couple of opportunities second half, but we were miles better than them. And it was just getting back, because we had the cup final on the Saturday. We had to just get back as quick as we could. We got back. There are many stories about what people did or allegedly did and went to Chinatown and this, that and the other. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I know that Shafi and me and I think a couple of the other boys went back to my house when we get back and put the game on. Watched it. We were just so proud of what we'd done. I had taped it, so that went taped it. There you go.
There you go.
I had taped it. We went back to my house and we watched the game again. And that's what we did, because we knew we weren't in until the afternoon the next day, so we could sleep in.
Yeah.
So they'd go back, have a good kip, come in the afternoon for a bath and what have you. So we went back to my house, 2 or 3 of us, watched the game. It was brilliant to do. But I know there's a legendary story that Derek Hatton and many of the boys went to Chinatown. No, that genuinely didn't happen. Do you honestly think these boys were going to go to Chinatown when they were on the cusp of completing a treble? No chance. No chance.
Do you think? I think I know what you're gonna say, but do you think if we would have had a day, 2 days, we'd have beat United on the Saturday?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, because we were spent. If the truth be known, we were spent. A lot of us. I don't think there was anybody in our team would honestly say they were at 90%
on a big pitch,
let alone 100%.
Yeah.
On that day and that occasion, it was a game too far. I think if we'd have got a draw, if we'd have held on, I think we'd have beat them in the replay.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we'd have beat them in the replay. We were better than them that season. We were better than them, and they knew it. I think Ron knew it. We'd thumped them 5-1. We'd beaten them at Old Trafford. We drew with them at Old Trafford. They couldn't beat us, and they knew that. But they did in the day, and it was that kind of day where even when they went down to 10 men, there was no extra energy there from us.
No.
To push on, we would normally have pushed on and destroyed a team that had a player less than us. But there was genuinely very little left in any of the tanks, and there was not a lot you could do, because I think there was only one sub allowed in those days, wasn't there? Still?
Yeah.
So you couldn't bring 3 players on to freshen it up. It was one sub and that was it, and it was never going to be enough. So it was a shame, and for a bit of time, it was sad. But very quickly, it began to sink, in what we had achieved. And then the trip round Liverpool, the sadness very quickly disappeared to one of pride and joy and happiness at what we had all been part of. And I think there's not a player, I don't believe there's a player who played there, doesn't look back and think, I wish. I do, often.
Yeah.
I wish. Double was amazing. The first European trophy, only European trophy, is amazing.
Yeah.
Being part of history, it's amazing. It really is. But that would have cemented that team, and I think it deserved that. By the way,
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was good enough to win the treble. I think it just fell at the last hurdle, and that was a shame because that would have been genuine recognition of something hugely special.
Yeah, and
we were good enough anyway, but that elevates you above all the rest. Yeah.
Well, we'd have done the double before Liverpool, wouldn't we? And that would have been a big thing. Yeah. And with the team, we've said before, the team somehow fell through the cracks because of for whatever reason. But we got to the summit, and you were sold, and I couldn't. It's still now. Me and Ped were talking the other day about it. It's still berserk that were you on the bench in the Charity Shield, weren't you?
No, I think I'd gone.
Had you just gone? I'm sure you were. I thought you were on a bench. But we just got Lineker.
Yeah.
And you leaving was just it's berserk. It's absolutely
I
mad.
left before the season started. I came to close season. We were moving house, actually, just moving to a new house in Formby. I said to my missus, don't move in, don't unpack anything else. Howard's Jag pulled up. I said, nah. He's not coming here with good news, babe. I said, don't move in. And I could see he was uncomfortable. And we had a glass of wine. And he just said, I just thought I'd bring it to you that Aston Villa made an offer for you. Oh?
Yeah.
I said, what? So? He said, well, I just thought because it was Villa, I'd let you know. I said, come on, Howard. I said, we've won the double, won the Europe, won the league, got beaten the FA Cup final, won the FA Cup the year before. Love the boys, love you, love Colin, love Easy, love everybody, love the club, love the fans. So, and all of that love that I've got around here, why do you think I'd want to go back to Villa? Well, I thought it would be said, and if you hadn't wanted to go, I've got an opportunity to buy Gary Lineker. I said, well, you tell me. You want me to go? No. Let's talk about a new deal. I said, okay, whatever. And then we had a couple of glasses, and about half an hour later, he said, well, listen, I'm going to buy Lineker anyway. Nice. I said, okay, what's it mean for me? And he just said, I'll be starting with Sharpie and Gary up front, and obviously you and Minshall have to just bide your time. And I said, well, and I was hasty. I think in hindsight now, I should have stayed. But there was Heysel, there was no Europe.
Yeah.
I was 29, 30. And I didn't feel that having had the season we'd had, that I wanted to go back to playing reserve team football. And it was Aston Villa, a team I knew and had spent, 4 fantastic years at.
Yeah.
So all that and the fact that I wasn't going to be playing, I just said, okay, I'll make it easy for you, I'll go. And that was that genuine. I said, I'll go. He says, I'll get battered for this. I said, good, I hope you do. And he did.
And he did. He did. He most.
It was funny because I got so many letters. I mean, an obscene amount of letters from Evertonians. I still have them to this day about, please don't go, thank you. He said, do you know what? He wrote to Howard and he wrote to the club and it got sent to me. The club sent me a lot, in fairness. And he said, I love Andy so much that if I came home one night and found him in bed with my missus, I'd tuck him in to make sure he didn't catch cold.
There's the love.
I thought, that kind of sums up the relationship I had with the fans there. Yeah. It was great.
Incredible. I've got to ask you about this because the management position, the management story, the legend of what actually happened. Because there's something me and Ped have talked about often. at one stage, you were our manager. It was reported as you were the Everton manager. You were bringing Dwight York in. You were the Everton manager, and things were going to move forward. Obviously, Joe had left, and Waggy had had us for a few games and kept us up. And then it was Andy Gray's the new manager, and Evertonians were very excited by that. And then 3 days later, you weren't the Everton manager, and you'd stayed at Sky. So, what happened with that? What is the truth with that?
Well, it wasn't 3 days. It was a lot longer than that. And the truth of the matter is, when I met Peter Johnston and Cliff Finch, I think Cliff was one of the others that was there, and somebody else at Park Foods.
Park Foods. Yeah.
I went up, and when I left home that day, I said to my partner at the time, "I think I'll be manager of Everton when I come back." That's exactly what I said to her.
Yeah.
Had Everton offered me the job there and then, that day,
yeah,
if they were that convinced I was the right man, and turned to me and said, "Here's the deal, sign it," I'd have signed it. I chatted with them for hours. We talked about, hypothetically, Andy, what would you do? How would you see it? How would you do it? This, that, and the other. Spent hours going through things with them, talking about it. And it took me completely by surprise, because the following day, I was due to fly to La Manga to play in a golf tournament, a footballers' classic.
Yeah.
And that was like a 6 or 7 day tournament. So I thought, well, they won't let me go. It was the middle of summer. You've got to start making plans for the new season. I thought this was urgent forever.
Yeah.
So at the end of the talks, lo and behold, Peter says, "Well, thanks very much for coming up, Andy. We've got another couple of people to interview. We'll be in touch." And I thought, well, wow. I thought that's taken me a little by surprise, that. I didn't realise there was a list of people to be interviewed. I thought I was the choice, and I was going to be that. I went away to La Manga. I talked to a load of people there, people like Glenn Hoddle, and loads of people in the game that I respected. And, a lot of them are great news if you take it and if you get offered it, and others are saying, "Don't do it. You've got a great job where you are now. Television, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. Why would you put yourself in there?" I said, "It's Everton." And before I left, Peter Johnson said, "So obviously, Andy, everything that we've talked about shall remain in these 4 walls." I said, "Peter, I'm telling nobody anything of what we've discussed. Absolutely no one." Every time I picked up a paper in Spain, there was another story about me and Everton. Could only have come from the 4 people that were in that room. So it wasn't me. It had to be one of Peter's boys, or Peter himself, who were leaking stories. Andy Gray's this, Andy Gray's that. Andy Gray was never offered the job. Never once was offered the job. I came back. Sky obviously had by now got wind of it. And unlike a few years ago, they didn't want me to leave at that time. And they were desperate for me to stay. I had a young daughter who lived in the Midlands. She was important in my life as well. I had time to think about where was I going to see her if and when I became a coach. That would have been more difficult. So there were 1 or 2 things that crept into the decision.
Yeah.
In that week that Peter hadn't said anything. And then Sky came along, and when I got back, it wasn't Everton that called me, it was Sky. "We need to talk to you." And they made me an offer, which was ridiculous. And I hadn't heard from Peter Johnson, nothing. And I signed the deal. Then Peter comes out and says, "Can't believe it." As he said to Evertonians, Andy Gray turned us down. And I never. Now, I don't know what I'd have done having been given time to think about it and all the problems that I'd had. But I never was offered the job once. I was never offered a contract. I was never offered payment. I was never offered a wage. I wasn't. Had I been offered it the day I went there, as I've said, because my heart was definitely ruling my head, I was excited. It was something I couldn't believe might be happening. I'd have been the manager. But because of the time that elapsed with Peter, I think he must have been talking to Howard as well for a third time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was what happened.
Howard, and I think somebody else was in the frame. And I thought, well, if he wanted me, he could have had me, and he could have offered me it there and then, and things might have been different, but they weren't, and that's how it unfolded. That's how it unfolded. And it was unfortunate the way it came out, the way Peter leaked it out or let it out like that. But no, I never turned my back at Everton, having said I'd be manager. That's absolutely wrong. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
No problem.
So on that, do you have any regrets then that you didn't make a decision to be a manager somewhere or not?
You know what? I think I'll always have regrets about not testing myself as a coach. I loved the year I had with Big Ron at Villa as his assistant. I loved it. I would be lying if I said I didn't. It was a brilliant year. Learned so much from the big man and enjoyed working with the players and loved it. And that had given me a little feeling of what it would be like. And this Everton thing came along about 5 years later. So, it would have been... And yes, I'll always wonder. But I think Everton was right club. But I honestly believe it was the wrong time with Peter in charge.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that in the years that followed. That it was a tough job for anybody, as it was.
Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah.
To make a success of it. And so, yes, I'll always wonder. Reedy did it. He can look back with pride at what he achieved at Sunderland and City.
Yeah.
Clubs like that. I made the decision to stay in television. And at the time for me, it was the right one. I will when I'm sitting in my rocking chair, hopefully, when this body's not able to move about in any way, I will probably still wonder what it would have been like to coach a team. Yeah.
You've changed the face of the way we view football, though, so it is what it is, isn't it? You were part of something that changed football for a lot of people. So even though you haven't been a coach, you have got that other side to it, haven't you? So I'm not. Yeah, you're right. You'll probably sit back and go, "Could I have done it?"
But to be at the beginning of what happened with the Premier League, to be at the forefront of that, to be given carte blanche, basically, to rewrite the analysis book and TV analysis was fantastic. You know, without the pressure of getting the result every week. It was brilliant. I loved it. I threw myself into it. To be right there, to be the first lot to do that was great. I massively enjoyed that part of my life as well, I have to be honest.
Andy, thank you so much. Thanks so much for taking a good hour out your day to sit and chat with me about that. So I know you want to go make your tea before you sit down and watch the Bayern Munich game. So thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. And
all right, bye.
See you soon. Thanks a lot, Andy. Take care, mate. Stay safe.
Love to everyone at Everton. Stay safe, everybody.
Take care, Andy. Cheers, pal.
Cheers.
Massive thanks there to Andy Gray joining us all the way from Qatar to talk about his Everton career as well as some other subjects, notably whether or not he was going to become the Everton manager. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you want more videos, all the videos in full, make sure you get over and join us on Patreon. See you later.